Hi, I'm Rob. It's nice to meet you.
It doesn't make sense.
But yes, it doesn't make sense.
If I haven't said before because of perception filter, welcome, Awesomer Bob, to Nerdaholics. Our very good friend Bob.
I'll be around
the Awesome
when
Bob
I feel
channel.
like.
Yes, we are now a 4-piece team.
Woo! Awesome. A foursome's better than a threesome because
It's
involved.
One.
It's more fair that way.
And also, Rob points out things that don't make sense.
Don't get a loner in the corner going, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, you can pair off. There we go.
Unless there's like a threesome and then there is one in the corner, just like, no, I'm really lonely.
It's not fair.
Yeah, that's just really sad.
Yeah.
Like Gravity is a film that's based around the concept of fucking gravity. It's in the name. It's supposed to make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't at all, does it? No,
it
really doesn't.
Playing on the gravity or the lack of gravity, but they get the fucking physics wrong. And it's been discussed time and time again by many people.
All of the fucking debris that goes past her
like,
at a million miles an hour.
You must let me go. Why? I'm dragging you down. How are you dragging her down? With your weight of There's no... What's dragging? What's dragging? I mean, yeah, the pull, like you're flying in that direction, yeah, and then you pulled tight, and yeah, that would create a sudden boof. That would create a sudden... But then you'd come back again.
Yeah, you'd suddenly float back to the centre. Like, I'm gone now. I'm gone now.
What
Because I'm George Clooney.
Magic force is this? None of that needed to happen, and for that, and because that was such a crux of the film, the whole film from that point onwards is like, well, that's just stupid because he should he should just come back again. Why is he put? What world is
he's still traveling around that fucking planet?
Yeah, so that sort of level,
you know what I mean?
where something should make sense and it doesn't, that pisses me off. But something like Mad Max Fury Road, obviously nothing is supposed to make sense, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Well, it's very elaborate in how it's
like it's not important.
Oh, he's mining. He's got the whole like world's water supply or something like that.
They would definitely not be alive. Like there's no way that they would be alive at all. And these people are basically like putting somebody else's blood in their veins, like as if that won't cause some sort of disease.
Yeah, I was thinking that as well.
Are they the same blood type? Do you even know?
What
does
have
it
you got
matter?
AIDS?
No, just like it doesn't matter because some guy at some point is playing a guitar on fire on a truck with. I mean, again, like we're living in a world where gasoline is a very valuable resource. I know we'll be the most inefficient fucking trucks possible with all these incredibly heavy equipment on there for no purpose other than it looks cool.
It looks and sounds
cool.
And it's actually more cool watching the special features of how they actually made them rather than the in-film thing.
That's like Bear Grylls going out and catching an animal and then only eating one part of its body and throwing the rest away. Like, no, look, you're surviving in the wild. You need the resources. You're not going to waste it on building these big fuck off trucks with all the shit all over it that's really heavy and going to cost lots of fuel to run. It's stupid. But at the same time, it doesn't matter because it's not supposed to matter.
It's Mad Max, and the clue's in the name. It's mad.
It's not relevant. So, like, there's certain film types that I can watch and I go, it doesn't matter that it doesn't make sense. But then others that like really annoy me when I watch it. It's like, that needs to make sense because you've made me think it should do, and it doesn't.
Have you seen The Core, Rob?
I don't know. I can't remember.
Right, it's a science fiction film where they build a ship to travel to the centre of the Earth because the core stops moving.
Okay, no, I haven't, but I immediately hate it because nothing of that makes any sense.
I watched the first half an hour quite recently, and I've just, you know how your head starts hurting when things don't make sense. In this film,
most of
there's
to be fair, most of Doctor Who is like
well, new Doctor Who. Anyway.
Why is this the thing that's happening?
Doctor Who as well.
Well, it's like when you decide to do the William Hartnell watch. 60s Doctor Who doesn't make a lot of sense.
No,
but again, like it almost feels like it doesn't matter. because
because if
it's a time machine, who gives a shit? It doesn't make sense.
If you can let slide the fact that there's an alien who travels through time and space in a transcendentally dimensional object, then you can probably let a lot of other stuff go in it.
Yeah, true.
It's
well, in the core, the first bit is like birds start flying into a window.
Yeah.
What?
Because they would if the core stopped. Yeah.
So
birds' flights are based on as we all know.
Is there an echo? Hang on.
Oh, they're based on the magnetic field. Obviously, the magnetic field's going wrong because that's linked to the core.
Eyes. Birds don't have eyes. They can't see.
They've got
so they slam into the window. Loads of them slam into the window.
Whatsoever.
People's pacemakers stopped working. So there's a point where loads of people suddenly have a heart attack.
They're only work because of magnetic north.
At the same time, a space shuttle's coming down from space, so they have to try and land, and its navigation signals go off, so they have to land in the LA drain, like the storm drains, because that's a perfectly safe place to land a space shuttle.
Yeah.
Then no, they make the ship out of unobtainium.
Oh, the fake metal that can be whatever you want it to be. That magic material.
But they didn't even
Star alloy.
It's such a MacGuffin. They didn't even disguise the name unobtainium. Unobtainium.
You can't obtain it.
It
can't be
real.
called
It isn't fucking
as
real.
As soon as you get it, you can no longer call it unobtainium. It has to be very hard to obtain.
No,
almost impossible to obtain.
It's obtainium now. You've obtained it.
Because it's not. You have it. You've obtained it. It's fucking stupid.
It no longer exists.
It's like being called Stahl the Undefeated. What happens when you do get defeated? You're not the undefeated anymore.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's on Tyrone episode.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like with the more modern Doctor Who's, as you said, like it kind of leads it up as you kind of need to. It tries to explain things to you, and it tries to expect you to understand the science, at least some of the scientific understanding behind some of the stuff. And they're like, "Oh, is that a prison made of the densest material in the universe?" Well, it can't.
Oh yeah,
because
dwarf star alloy.
Because the densest material in the universe, like a teaspoonful, would consume the Earth, and you've got fucking breeze blocks of it, and they're being lifted by two people. How fucking strong are these people to lift a breeze block of the densest material in the fucking universe?
It's dense, but it's not so dense. But it's like it's one or the other.
It's not really. But it's only an alloy, so maybe maybe it's enough to do with
it. There's a tenth of what it should be.
Maybe there's like 0.00 recurring for 20 times 1% of it, and the rest is just an iron.
There you go. You provided the answer.
It's fucking sand. It's just a normal fucking breeze block, but it's black. It's just painted black.
They've just painted it black.
Yeah, but there's a lot of hand wavy explanations in the new series of Doctor Who, though. It's like everybody lives, and it's all down to these nano machines that fly around healing
everyone
people.
Lives because this is a show for families, so everyone has to. That's why.
Apart from all the other episodes where people die in it.
But it's like everyone important lives.
Yeah. And it's like when people, it's like some of the certain characters that I have a big problem with that can override becoming Cybermen. Well, why are you so important? That makes you be able to override the emotional inhibitor. Oh, because storyline. But millions of
because plot
armor. Because I can feel links.
Because James Corden.
I can feel links connecting in my brain into something I don't want to talk about, so I'm going to avoid it for a little bit longer. But
what's that?
It's going to get me riled up. another movie type that I can't bear to watch these days is.
By the way, welcome Rob to Nerdaholics. Our newest member.
Any movie about a shark. Any movie about a shark.
What, Sharknado?
Anything.
Oh, like Jaws.
Well, Sharknado is a piss take, which you've seen on the channel, we've piss taked
things like
that a lot.
That's. I mean, again, it's not my cup of tea, but I do, and I respect it for what it is. It's obviously a piss take. It's fine. But any movie about a shark where they try to make it suspenseful, just immediately it's like no, because that's not how sharks behave. It's just fucking stupid. Every
Like
single
Deep Blue
time, I'm
Sea.
like, but a shark wouldn't do that.
Oh, we're gonna need a fucking boat.
You know,
That
and I get
scene
like with
is
Jaws,
ridiculous.
you can kind of understand.
I wasn't
Okay, that was a long
expecting that,
time
wasn't
ago.
it?
Maybe they didn't really have as much knowledge about shark behavior as they do today. You know, they were very scary creatures, but like, there's no excuse now. We all know sharks are not literally indiscriminate hunters of humans. They don't even like people. They will avoid people at all.
I
Almost
always have this thought, like when a shark bites into a human being and it thinks it's a nice, tasty seal, and it bites in and goes,
It's essentially what happens. It's essentially
It's like us eating anchovies. It's just
it really is. We must taste so fucking weird.
Yeah.
We taste nothing like a fish. We taste completely different. They'll probably take a good old chunk and go, "Oh, what the fuck is that?"
And it's funny because we think like people say, "Oh yeah, apparently like human flesh tastes a bit like chicken." There aren't any chickens underwater.
Exactly.
How are they going to know what that tastes
don't like chickens because the fuck is chicken? They don't swim, so they won't know what a chicken tastes like.
They don't know what they do not know that chickens exist.
Yeah, they've done so many studies to prove that even human blood does not attract sharks because it doesn't. It's not. Fish blood. They don't know what it is. They just ignore it. They don't like it. They're not interested. So when you see a movie about a shark essentially hunting somebody, it's like that's not. No, that's not what would happen.
I mean,
swim up.
They took it too far with Jaws Revenge. That was just. That's when it was like, okay, now we're getting. That's probably what inspired Sharknado in the first place. That fucking film.
Yeah.
So, it's Jaws' grandson, and it remembers all the people that were on that boat and its families.
Oh dear!
Wow.
We're going to have to touch on Game of Thrones because it's propped up in my brain, and now I'm pissed off, and it's not going to leave.
Well, we haven't actually done literally not done a video about that ever. So, so let's talk about it. It was fucking.
I'm going to assume you've both watched all of it.
Yes.
Thank fuck. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is what I was going to think. I was thinking about like the reason why it was so successful for so long was because nobody was safe.
Yeah.
Nobody had the safe card. Nobody had I'm the main protagonist. I can't die.
There was no plot armor.
You never knew who the fuck was going to die next. This character that you put, no way this guy's going to die, and he's dead. It's just like people.
When it's fucking
Red
Sean
Wedding
Bean in the first season.
Whoa.
I remember that.
So
I remember Harry when you were first showing
me
that, and I think it was like a few months after it had come out, and you were watching it, and it was like the episode where Sean Bean, spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't watched it.
Yeah, exactly. You know what people are like.
Go watch it.
And it was the first episode that I'd watched. So then I remember turning around to you going, there's no fucking point watching it now. They've just killed off Sean Bean, the main character. So eventually I went back and watched it, and it was like, so they've just fucking killed off Rob Stark, the main character, again.
So the only thing Sean Bean had going for him is he is Sean Bean. So you would expect him to be killed. But he's the only one who doesn't, he never has. He never has the I can't be killed card because he's Sean Bean. He has the I will be killed card.
Funny enough.
Apart from that, he wasn't in any danger at any point. I was highly expected to just die of a heart attack for no reason, just because he's Sean Bean.
He doesn't die in a Jupiter Ascending either.
I've not
seen
is
that fucking Coonish shit?
Because it just looks too shit.
Yeah.
It just took me too quickly.
Space elves, was it?
I think, as soon as that guy came out, I'm just like, you're too edgy for me. I can't.
Oh god,
it's too much edgy. I can't.
He's talking about Channing Tatum.
Yeah.
The way he talked was just like, no, you talk ridiculous. Stop whispering. Fucking whispering.
It's the same problem I have with Valerian. Have you seen Valerian?
Yeah. No.
Like the main character.
Stop fucking whispering.
Has this. I am action voice man. I overact all the time, and you sit there and go, "You didn't need to do that. He's a good actor as well." That's the thing. He didn't even need to do this, and it would have worked. I would have actually enjoyed the movie 10 times more if he didn't put the stupid voice on.
Oh, I don't know what to think about that film. I watched it, and at the end of it, I just thought, I don't know if that was good. I'm so confused.
Visually,
I felt like I
really enjoyed the visual styles, the graphics.
Yeah,
the cinematography was good, but
it was so many.
The two main characters, I think, were miscast.
It was so mismatched.
Yeah.
It was so bizarre. Like, I don't understand really what I'm watching. And it felt like I'm watching 4 movies simultaneously.
Don't
with
get me
different
wrong.
plots.
The
And I
original comic book that it's based on, Valerian, is really weird. And it's quite wacky and quirky and really like late 60s. They were on a lot of drugs. So lots of weird, wacky
I've heard
stuff.
it's very trippy. I've not delved into it myself, but I've heard trippy describes it quite well.
Maybe they shouldn't have tried to translate it then. Just left it.
Well, yeah. It's one of those ones, isn't it? It's every sci-fi franchise that's even remotely popular is getting turned into a movie, TV series. Yeah. Everyone's jumping on the bandwagon.
Some of the good things are not, and it's annoying me. Like there's a good few book series that I've read, and I think that needs to be a TV series, and it's not. It just makes me sad because I really want.
Maybe it's a good thing that it isn't. This day and age.
Yeah, but like you know, when you read some things, you think, you know what, this could easily be adapted to a series, not a movie. Don't make it a movie because you'll fuck it up. Make it a series. Because if you make it a movie, you'll squeeze it all in, and it'll just be it needs to be
you'll get David Lynch's Dune, and
yeah, exactly. You just think no, it won't work.
And then they're making again. I don't get they're making another movie. Okay, the trailer looks good for Dune, but I said they should have just made it like a Game of Thrones, early Game of Thrones like style TV show, because there's so much of that story and that universe. That you can't really. Used to be a TV series. You can't really tell it over just one film unless they're planning.
Well, that's why the 2 TV series they did of Dune were actually watchable and passable as.
The movie was like what, 10 hours long? I swear to God, it.
No. Its runtime is 125 minutes, but it feels like a 3-hour movie.
It feels like a lot longer than that, mate.
It's a 2-hour movie. It's definitely feels double that.
What am I even watching? All I know is a fat guy with machines that make him not fat, but he's still fat.
Yeah, Game of Thrones. You were moaning.
Oh, Game of Thrones. Yeah,
so again, not everyone was safe.
Yeah, so this is the point. The reason why it was so good is because you never fucking knew who was going to die. Even the most key characters could die at any moment. And I can remember when it was running, going into work every week and going to all my mates, like, oh my God, like, what do you think's going to happen? Who do you think's going to? And it was it's so much intrigue and so many theories and ideas, and so many thought
political ramifications, and not
it was so complex. The political side,
but then you had this lurking supernatural evil.
Yeah, it's always in the background, always shit, there.
Yeah,
and in many different forms as well. Like you had the witches, the other side of the other side of the ocean, where there's different types of magic being sort of preached and used.
Yeah, you had the
warlocks in an episode trying to kill Daenerys for their own nefarious reasons, which never really get explained. But
cool. And you had Quaithe, who was the one.
There's a lot of loose threads that I kind of enjoyed, and especially when they brought Khal Drogo back and tried to repossess his body, and she loses her unborn child as a result of the whole experience, making her even more jaded than she already was. There was a lot of like you say, there was a lot of intrigue in those early seasons.
But especially the fact that the first scene of the whole thing is about the White Walkers.
Yes,
and that should have been like the fucking climax of the entire thing. We've been fighting.
Well, they spent 7 seasons to eventually wrap it all up in about 2 episodes.
Yeah.
7
and this is
setting up the White
Arya, who has nothing to do with that storyline, is the one that kills him.
I'm getting triggered, Sean. I'm getting triggered. This is the one thing. Like, there's not much that really, really gets to me. Like, there's a lot that gets to me, but not a lot that really gets to me. And this really, really got to me. Like, I actually got angry. Like, really angry that I thought I'm going to have to write these guys a letter or something, because that's what us Brits do when we get angry. You write a stern worded letter.
A strongly worded letter.
Because I want to know that I'm not happy.
I'm Rob Karen. I want to say complaint to your manager.
It was the one time I wanted to speak to their manager, because I tell you now, that's unacceptable. Like, you've spent so many years of my life on this absolutely outstanding piece of work. This complex character development, so complex, with all these different possibilities. So many things could happen, maybe would happen, who knows. There's so much going on, and then at the end oh, we can't be fucking bothered. We'll just do an extra short series, and we'll just go, yeah, you just died, you fucked off, and then wait. Like, oh, why did you do that? Like the whole time I'm thinking, okay, well, so first of all, that battle with the White Walkers, I can't see it. It's fucking dark. Like I literally cannot see.
It was so
anything.
bad. And there's people that going, well, that's what would have happened in that time because you wouldn't have had lights to be able to see it properly. And like, fuck off. We can see
real.
Battlefield Deep. Hello.
We're not watching it on. We're not listening to it on the radio.
Yeah, exactly. There's no excuse for that shit.
I mean, if I was to rewrite it, first of all, they would have lost that battle. 100%.
Oh, easily.
They would not have won that battle. There is no way they would have won that battle. So they're dead. They're gone. Most of them, at least. Maybe Jon could have escaped on a dragon with Daenerys and fucked off and left everybody else dead. They're all dead. And maybe Arya could have slipped off with her shadow skills or some shit. I don't know. But you might be able to save a couple of them.
It's just annoying because it's like, oh, the furthest they got was Winterfell.
Yeah.
Really?
They need to come all the way down to the south. They had to knock on the door. Yeah. I don't think Daenerys should ever have attacked the Red Keep. I think the fucking White Walkers should have done it.
Yeah.
They should have attacked the Red Keep. And then Daenerys should have killed them all with the dragons. And then the fucking Iron Fleet that just disappeared. Fuck knows where they went. They just fucked off. They should have come along and saved the day. And then the fucking the bitch queen could spell up, well, I was shit. And then everyone gets rid of her because she literally did nothing. Yeah. You know, there could be a peasant revolt and then she gets killed by the peasants because that's just karma.
So, Rob, are you advocating for like a super happy ending?
No, but like
all the different factions are going to come together. They're going to defeat the White Walkers, and everyone's going to be happy. I can live with that ending.
Yeah.
The way that it ended,
maybe I'm not saying such a nihilist.
Yeah, I'm not a better writer, and maybe my idea is too happy. I do like happy endings, but ultimately,
well, they wouldn't have been that happy because a lot of people.
Well, I think they got themselves into a bit of a corner. It was either going to be the ending that we got, which is this kind of like, okay,
which apparently is going to be very similar
like the cycle,
to the
history repeating. I quite liked the fact that you got the small council of all the fan favourites, and that's a little bit of a warm feeling that I got about the final episode.
Brand the broken.
Why was Ed Tully fucking there?
Oh, nice.
Why was Ed Tully there? It just didn't make any sense to me. He's just like, I think I could do it, and they all laugh at him. It's like, oh dear.
Everyone likes
you again. Not seen you for a couple of seasons.
Yeah, I thought you were in prison.
Or we were going to get a Blake 7 ending where everyone dies.
Well, the thing is,
that would have been better.
Honestly,
that
would have been more logical. That the White.
It was either going to be double down, or it was going to be, safe.
When I was watching it, part of me wanted the White Walkers to destroy everything.
Yeah.
Part of me wanted that.
Actually, there were no redeemable characters.
No,
and not only that, but that could, knowing the way that it's happened up to now, that actually legit is a potential ending.
That could have happened.
He's
and
not
the fact
shy
that Jon Snow was building up, was basically building this outside. Look, every battle we've had so far, every evil bastard human is nothing compared to this. We're talking about this is like a fucking nuclear holocaust about to arrive.
Awesome ending, and then maybe Daenerys could go off and do all that shit and and then just the White Walkers come and kill everybody and go, well, fuck you all and your stupid little petty human squabbles. That would be good. That would be good. It would be awesome,
or even a better reason to why the Night King was doing what he was doing, because he wants to erase history. Yeah. He wants to erase humanity.
I still didn't quite understand what his motivation was, or what the whole significance of the three-eyed ravens or the the wood
same people. Point, it would also render it irrelevant, because ultimately, if the what's his face zombie king guy
Night King.
If he wins, doesn't matter.
No.
It doesn't matter. Humans go dead. Everything's gone. And it could just be the final, just him sitting on the chair with his stupid face. It doesn't have any emotions.
He won the Game of Thrones.
Yeah, that's it. Sorted. And that would actually be, like, you would end that. And although in a way it wouldn't be satisfying, it also would be. Because you'd think, fuck me.
Yeah.
I can't believe it ended that way. Like, I just can't.
If the humans had just put their differences aside,
it's like a nuke just went off in my garden. It'd just be that kind of, wow, it actually happened.
What pissed me off about that as well is because George R. R. Martin's always gone on about, he's kind of he's criticised J.R. Tolkien over the years by saying, it's never been about like my enemies and there's no like black and white. It's always it's not like good versus evil. There's no typical thing like that. But in the end, the Night King was just your typical fucking evil villain who wanted to kill everything for no reason.
The last scene, and what really hit home, what really hurt, the twist of the knife, is that nothing made sense. And you know what I am. So Tyrion, this little guy, super smart, very strategic.
He's an idiot.
Okay, he's super. The whole time he just knows people. That's what he does. He knows people. He reads people,
and he
trusts his sister. The fuck? He would never trust his sister. Not in a billion years would he ever.
That was ridiculous.
He trusts his sister. Why? Even Sansa knew you were being an idiot.
Pregnant,
she's
perhaps.
Stupid.
We don't even know if she was in the end.
Like,
you know what I mean?
Even Sansa was like, Tyrion, you're an idiot. Like,
if
you honestly believe her, you're an idiot. And even she knew. She even fucking knew. And she's an idiot herself. Bless her. But
especially why of all the places where you know that an undead army is about to come, why take it down to the fucking crypts?
Jamie Lannister, who's gone through this enormous story arc to get to where he is, just reverts back to the first episode. Like,
for no real reason.
This whole story arc of you developing your character and finding your true self, and you just go back to the beginning. So annoying.
The whole thing is like, I never cared about them anyway. Well, then why did you kill the Mad King in the first place?
Honestly, watching that happen, it felt like watching a drug addict who spent their whole life going to rehab, and you're so proud of them, just shoot up another cocaine. It's like, no, don't do it.
But it's just like the whole thing with him and Brienne just happened off screen.
Just for no reason. Just like,
and he fucked off.
And then I'd forget about it. Fuck it. I'm going back
to Cersei.
And for no reason at all, just went back to her for literally no reason. Daenerys just went from the freer of slaves to I'm going to murder all the innocents in one day.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. I do get that maybe that was a potential plot point, and I agree that could have happened. Over a period of time, it just happens so fucking quickly and for no reason.
Rob, it does happen through the 7 seasons. She's not necessarily doing things that are like what a sane person would do. It's only now that you kind of have to look back at it and go, oh yeah, she does burn all the people.
No, I'm not. She does, and I do agree with you. But she's always stuck to her guns. That she will not burn innocent people that have done no harm to her. She has slowly become more and more aggressive towards people that she sees as being in the wrong.
Or a threat to her right to the throne.
Absolutely.
To the point where she even, because as soon as she found out that Jon was the rightful heir to the throne,
she gets
about like fucking.
But that's the point. She's always done it to people who are a threat to her or a threat to her reign. These people were completely innocent and had nothing to do with it, but she burns the whole city.
By the time she gets to that crazy bad mental shit, is that she's lost all the important people that were reining her in.
Yeah, but I just.
I know I'm playing a little bit of devil's advocate.
When it happens, that's not in character. Like, I didn't feel like that was in character at that point. Like, it just felt so sudden and random that it didn't, like, there was no build up of I'm going mental and I'm going to crack, and now I'm cracking. This is me cracking. It was just like, okay, I'm getting pissed off. I'm going to go murder a load of innocent people now. It's like, okay, what?
You know who pissed me off even more? Well, that happened. Jon Snow. Jon Snow, for like the whole of the seasons, was built up as this like proper hero. How dare you? You don't touch the innocent people. You know, he was like, you're like a hero. And even though he's walking through the fucking charred remains of what she's done, he's still like, you're my queen. You're my queen. It's like, no, the Jon Snow of season 4 would have been like, fuck you.
also, how does he murder her and then the Unsullied just don't straight up murder him?
Just like, our boss is dead.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh well, I guess who's going to give us the orders now? Who's going to pay us?
You just see Grey Worm at the end giving him a bit of a dirty look, and that's it. You know what I mean?
Maybe that's the point. Maybe if you kill the leader of the Unsullied, they just don't give a shit anymore because they're not being paid.
Yeah,
their boss is dead, so they don't care.
They don't care all along.
And also, where did all the Dothraki come
from? I was leading on to this point. The magic armies. There's so many
turned up again.
There's so many plot points in the last season that just happened. That's like, okay, so you've got 3 dragons flying really fast, very high up, and then a massive, I don't know what the fuck they're called, like archery thing.
Ballistics.
Ballast, yeah. One shot, boom, through the heart. No, that's not how that works. There is no fucking way you can one shot a flying animal that high up from that distance from a ship with no test shots at it, just buff straight.
And also, how the fuck did they not see that fucking army there? It was literally up there.
That whole scene, like, well, that's bullshit. That is absolute bullshit.
Yeah.
First of all, I doubt that a ship could fire something that heavy and big that far. They were fucking miles in the air.
Yeah.
Like, it was just elastic empty all that high. Was just like, nah, that's never going to happen. To hit it first time and then miss every single time afterwards. What is this? What, are you accurate? Are you...
I mean, you could sort of like forgive when the Night King fucking killed it, because he's like, okay, he's a supernatural being. This is an ancient weapon.
There is an element
sort of figured out. Okay, fuck it.
But that was like, the whole time. Okay. And then she just turns around and burns them all. It's like, but now they can't shoot straight. But they just one shot you. Like, but I don't understand. It's dangerous or not? I don't get it. The whole thing seems so convenient for the plot that just pissed me off. It's like, it doesn't make sense.
It's because the showrunners were offered a Star Wars trilogy that they thought, we need to. Even George R. Martin and HBO themselves were like, well, you can have 10 seasons if you want to tell this story properly.
No.
No, fine.
You've got a better offer. And then the magical Dothraki that all got killed, but then we're still there at the end.
Yeah,
you're all dead. You're all dead,
but then you're going around raping and pillaging people in fucking King's Landing. You randomly charged off into the unknown for no reason. I mean, that's a terrible idea. You can't see the enemy. You don't know where they are or how many. But hey, just charge off into. Don't flank them. Don't wait for them to approach.
No, just run off into the darkness. Great idea. Okay, well now you're all dead, but don't worry about it because now you're all back at the end. Magic timey-wimey.
They respawned.
You respawned. What the fuck? What you had no army. You got massacred.
Also, and I'm sorry, I liked him. I do like his character, but how the fuck did Sam Tarly survive that?
You know what I mean? Even the Unsullied got absolutely massacred. She must have had almost nothing left, and yet she had a huge army.
Yeah.
Where did they come from? And yeah, how is it that all these trained warriors died, and yet Sam Tarly is fine? Like
all of the main characters were fine. The main characters survived,
apart from one guy. It wasn't even that important.
The point that you were making, it's like there was no plot armor at the beginning, and then there was the ultimate plot armor by the end.
Plot armor and that's what made the final series so bad. It wasn't that it was actually that bad. It wasn't really, in honest truth, it wasn't that bad.
Well, the first two episodes of season 8 were quite good, especially the second one where they're all sitting in the castle and they're preparing for battle. It kind of gave me echoes of when they're waiting for the Urukai to arrive at Helm's Deep. It had that.
Yeah, they think they're going to lose.
And he goes and knights Brienne, and it's like, oh, this is all really cool, and it's like, okay, well, this is like the eve of like destruction. And it wasn't. You know what I mean?
I think the reason why the final series was so bad was because it's Game of Thrones, and the bar is not the same. You can't. You have to. You can't do an average season, especially as a finale. You just can't.
Also, they were running off. They were running on fumes. They'd run out of original source material, so they essentially
They should have fucking waited then.
What they were doing, although
they should have fucking waited.
The word is that it's.
I would rather wait 10 years for a great finale than get the shit that we got. It was just an insult, and because I had invested so much of my time and enjoyment into this, when I finally got that season out, it's like, oh, you've ruined my life. Like, you've really, really upset me because I really was invested emotionally into what you've produced. You have just. This is grounds for divorce. This is so bad.
The fact of what they were able to produce in those first 2-3 seasons with the small budget they had.
Yeah.
Especially the first season. It really didn't have a massive budget for it.
It just went horribly wrong, and it just really bothered me. It's been bothering me for years, and it'll be bothering me till I die. It'll just be bothering me for the rest of my life. It'll never stop bothering
between that and the Timeless Children. Wait till you get to that, Rob.
It's one of those ones, because it's such a poor ending. I've never bothered to go back and watch it all over again.
I can't do it. No.
You see, I kind of never got. I've not even got to what's his face, the Doctor after Matt Smith.
Oh, Peter Capaldi.
Never got to him.
Mr.
Every time I tried,
Fittipaldi.
something stopped me.
Yeah.
So I've gotten almost through Matt Smith, and then Netflix takes it off. So
You did. I remember.
okay,
You did,
so now I have to try and find another source.
That reminds me, you did watch an episode with me.
Yeah, I probably
and Jack
did.
once, and it was actually another one that was like, well, that doesn't make any sense, and it was. No, but it was true. It was the time, you know when they go through episodes where it's like, okay, don't blink, don't breathe, and then this one was like, don't think, and you were like, well, how can you just don't think? You can't
Literally can't do that.
Yeah, it was time based, so it was like
Yeah,
one of his
sense.
not so good ones. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I watched a lot of I watched all of from season 1 all the way up to, I want to say mid to late Matt Smith's age. I think season 6 or 7.
Well, it kind of declines a little bit.
Yeah, it's starting to feel like I'm getting bored of you now, Matt.
Yeah.
Like I feel like you peaked, but you're still here.
He peaked in his. As far as I'm concerned, he peaked in his first season.
You need to go away now. Like you've done your Pandorica. That was great. Why are you still here?
Whereas
Like,
Peter Capaldi, I wanted him to do another.
You need to go. Move on.
I could have seen another 5 seasons from Capaldi, and he wanted to do another 5 seasons until they basically fucked him off.
Yeah, like I didn't. For some reason with David Tennant, I have a personal bias towards David Tennant. I just absolutely love him. Like in my personal opinion, he's my favorite Doctor. And I get that's not always going to be the most popular opinion with everybody.
No, but it's a very popular opinion, and
yeah,
I suppose he was the sort of he was like the new series Tom Baker in terms of I think was a fan of the show as well.
Proof's in the pudding that any bad David Tennant episode you can still watch.
Yeah,
because David Tennant is so good.
I think he is a very good actor.
I can't watch a bad Peter Capaldi or a bad Matt Smith episode. I don't go back and watch them.
Yeah,
I can watch any Capaldi episode because I think he is. I generally think after Tom Baker, he's the best.
See, I was looking forward to getting to
play the Doctor. I think he makes it. But there are worse Peter Capaldi episodes than arguably any other Doctor apart from Jodie's. Do you know what I mean? So
you see, I thought David Tennant got it on the nose because he somehow captures the two sides of the Doctor very well, and he can do it seamlessly. Like in the same scene, he can be the jovial, jokey Doctor, and you kind of get that sense of adventure and excitement. But then also there's a dark side, a very dark side, that he also portrays at the same time.
Yeah.
But there's almost no seams between the two. It's like this is clearly the same person, and it doesn't come across like somebody acting like that.
Yeah.
You know, like there are scenes where I think there is definitely a dark side. And you know, Matt Smith does a good job, but sometimes it feels like he's acting like there's a dark side. And he's not convincing me that there is. Just the way his character is. I don't know. But that's just a personal thing. Like, I get it that you know, some people will go with that, some people won't. But I never got that from him as much.
I think he was very much... I definitely got the old man in the young man's body with Matt Smith.
Yeah.
Quite well. But I mean, and there were when he did get angry, it was a bit like, oh, he's getting angry. And he didn't really do that often. And I think
but
Peter
even when
Capaldi, they went with the angry side quite a lot, and then which I actually really liked. And it wasn't when it went on, they tried to soften him a bit more, and it was like I kind of like the way you were going.
Peter Capaldi looking angry just because he looks like somebody who would get angry.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, he was just like, these are attack eyebrows. You can take bottle caps off with these. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm Scottish. I can complain about things. I can really complain about things.
I just felt like maybe it's just a personal thing, but when Matt Smith gets angry, I just didn't find him like. If he was here right now and Matt Smith got angry at him, I wouldn't feel that threatened compared to when David Tennant gets angry. And maybe it's a Scottish thing because David's Scottish.
Yeah.
You feel like something in his eyes. This crazy look he gets in his eyes. He's going to kill me.
Well, that's why he pulled off. I don't know if you saw it. He pulled off that.
He's lost it. But somehow Matt Smith never portrayed that I've lost it vibe. Like it never looked like it. That's it. He's fucked. He's gone. He's lost it. he always looked like, oh, actually, there's a plan involving a fez. You know, it's a lot more of a light-hearted kind of a Doctor. It's a lot more jokey, and at the same time, somehow didn't come across like he cared about anybody other than Amy Bond. Like he just didn't seem to care about anybody.
Which is why it's interesting. They play on it on the 50th anniversary.
Mm.
When he talks about, have you seen the 50th anniversary, Rob?
I can't remember. Possibly.
Well, it's got David Tennant and Matt Smith in it, and John Hurt.
I think I have. Yeah, I think I've seen that. Where I got a shitload of Doctors in once.
But it's a wicked scene where he goes, "How many children were on Gallifrey?" And Matt Smith's like, "It was a bad day. I don't really remember." David Tennant's like 2 million, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And he goes, "How long does it take to forget, like how many it is?" And you really did show the difference in like their attitudes. Like Matt Smith, there is very much a carefree. I just want to get on with it, and it's
because he's gone through that phase.
Amount of David Tennant,
which is I do
David
get
Tennant's
it.
Still in that phase, you know what I mean?
You could make the argument that there is no such thing as a bad Doctor, because ultimately and this is an argument, and I'm not saying that it's. I'm just making the argument for the sake of being the person who makes the argument.
It doesn't exist.
Yeah, you do read that. I need to go for a shit. There's no such thing as a bad Doctor.
Yeah, see, this is the argument, and I think that I like debates, and I like the idea of sometimes you have to challenge your own view. Now, I accept that there may be a Doctor that you don't like, there may be a portrayal of the Doctor that you don't like, but ultimately you have to accept that each regeneration, each version of the Doctor is a unique version and is not necessarily the same as the one before. And thus, each one is going to be different and have different traits. And you may not like the traits that one of them shows, but that doesn't mean they're bad. It just means you don't like them because they're not the Doctor that you like. Like, I can't say, for example, that Matt Smith is better or worse than David Tennant, who is better or worse than Christopher Eccleston. But I can say that I preferred the Doctor that David Tennant brought to the table because I thought he was more well-rounded and more relatable, whereas Matt Smith was a bit more alien. But then you could also argue that maybe that's better because he is an alien, and thus, you know, that's why he is the way he is.
I suppose it all depends on what you look for in the Doctor. As long as
exactly.
if their core principles and their core ideas of what makes them the Doctor is there, and you just have they have their own sort of unique spin on that, but it's still there, then it's fine. But
see, I've seen half an episode.
Sorry,
I've seen half an episode of Jodie Foster. I fucking hated it. Okay, now that's not me going, oh, well, everyone says she's shit, so she must be shit, because I don't. I stopped watching this mid Matt Smith, so I actually haven't got much investment into Doctor Who one way or the other. But when I watched it, I looked at it and I thought, wow, she's trying to be Doctor Who, and that was the problem. As soon as I saw it, I'm like, you're trying to be somebody.
David Tennant.
That's the problem. Yeah, exactly. You're not being your version of the Doctor. You're being somebody else's version of the Doctor, and it really shows. And that's why I don't like it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that's right. I mean, you're a woman. No, maybe you should have played it completely differently because you're a female and not a male. So maybe you should have used this opportunity to completely change.
This is actually something I pointed out. I totally agree with you. They should have pushed the boat out more.
Yeah.
In that direction. Yeah. If really like they were making such a fuss about it being a big change, that it wasn't enough of a radical change in terms of the portrayal. Right, that I was like, it just falls flat. It falls flat. It really does fall.
It's weird. It's like she doesn't feel like she's a female Doctor. She just feels like the Doctor who happens to be female. And originally it was like, oh yeah, no, let's not like focus on the gender change as long as it's the Doctor who happens to be female. But actually, thinking about
maybe
it,
you should focus more on the
she
gender
should have been
change,
more feminine. They should have made her more feminine. Yeah. It's almost like they were afraid to do that, like with Missy.
Or at least be questioning it a bit more, like, oh, this is new. You know, just a bit more kind of questioning.
But, I mean, to highlight the point, and I think this will really bring it home, is the bit that I watched, and I literally watched 5 minutes of this episode. I had no idea that it was Doctor Who. I didn't know. I just turned on the telly, and it was on.
Not.
She wasn't in the TARDIS. She was literally talking to a guy in his living room. It could have been any program in the world. I've never seen this program before. Yeah. I turned it on, and I knew immediately it was Doctor Who. And I looked at her and I think, oh, they've got a female Doctor now, because I instantly knew that she was the Doctor, and this must be Doctor Who, and they must have. I didn't even know, because I say I left this way back in the Matt Smith days. I hadn't followed it. I had no idea who the Doctor was, but based on the fact that she was basically David Tennant, but not, and that's the problem. Like, you are basically playing David. You're basically playing the Doctor. If it's so obvious to me as a viewer that you're being the Doctor, why bother? Because and originally that's why I had the argument that I didn't like Matt Smith at first, because I thought he was trying too much to be like David Tennant. But actually, having rewatched it, it's actually quite different. But at the time, I think I was having.
He's like a hybrid. He's his own.
Withdrawals, Rob. You were still sad about.
I think Patrick Troughton. That's who he really is. Patrick Troughton.
Like, you can't compare to my lord.
Why, Doctor?
He's gone. I don't want to go.
I think. Oh, Rob, honestly, I think you'd like Capaldi, because he's just.
I mean, I love William Hartnell.
Yeah, and he's the most like William Hartnell.
I've not watched many of the I have actually watched quite a few Doctor Who series from the old stuff, but I've not watched any of them in chronological order. I don't know any of the names. I've not even watched full episodes, because obviously most of them are on fucking UK Gold on a Sunday morning or whatever. You just watch a random something, God knows.
Exactly. Yeah.
I did watch most of, if not all of, William Hartnell, and the reason why I loved him is because he legit looked like a doddery old man with Alzheimer's. You had no fucking idea what was going on. I loved it. It's bumbled around space-time. I don't know where I am. Do you know where we are? I don't know. There's some Aztecs. Let's have a look.
Yeah.
I literally has no idea, and I loved it. It was almost cute. And he's just angry at everybody because he's old. But almost felt like
he's grumpy.
Like literally unthreatening.
Yeah.
Like, no one gives a shit. You're an old man. Fuck off. And it's kind of endearing. Like now, if the Doctor gets angry, you get scared. Whereas back then, it's like if the Doctor gets angry, you question, why are you angry?
It's normally not that important. Some of the time that he gets annoyed.
He looks powerless. He honestly comes across as completely powerless and weak. And somehow
when Tom Baker gets angry, it's fucking terrifying. Because he's a big bastard and he's very imposing. That worked
to the part of his charm, because he would be able to, he'd win the day, but you weren't quite sure how he was going to do it.
No.
Somehow he won. Woo!
And he was probably the Doctor, bless him, that actually probably relied most on his companions than any other Doctor since. Because they did all of the legwork, really. I
would argue that William Hartnell probably isn't the first Doctor. He's probably the last Doctor. Logically speaking, in terms of character development, it would make sense that he would end up being this crazy old man that just bumbles through time. I can't quite remember, but still manages to solve all the shit.
That, Rob. It's interesting you should say that now, because that could well be the case.
That is actually what happens.
Kind of, sort of.
But it makes sense purely based on the character knowledge. Is that he just played this old guy that just bumbled around, didn't really know what was going on. You know, the TARDIS was stuck as a blue box because he didn't
understand humans. Didn't understand
didn't really
why
understand
they did certain things.
Just picked up some random strays. Oh, just gotta come in, I guess. I don't know.
You have to come with us, because you'll tell everybody about this time machine and you can't go.
It's like, you'll put me in a zoo.
I love how that motivation just completely disappears.
Oh, okay then. I guess I'll come.
I suppose I have to now.
Yeah, I can't just run off. I guess I'll just have to come.
I don't know what will happen. You might kill me, though you probably won't.
The whole time, honestly, just felt like they were looking after him. Like he was the one. The companions were 100% there, looking after this weird old man that could not do anything.
And then with Patrick Troughton, he's got slightly better. And then when it came to John Pertwee, he was fully fucking like, I'm the James Bond Doctor. No one's gonna fuck with me. I know fucking Aikido and everything.
What do we actually want this guy to be like? They changed it. Yeah. But it would make sense to go round back to the beginning as being the ending, in my opinion.
But that's just, I love the way when Peter Capaldi was first cast and there was the announcement and he came walking out doing the whole William Hartnell thing, when he grabs his braces like that.
Yeah.
This guy loves Doctor Who because he's walked out doing that, and it's like, and they made his character basically like him in his first season anyway.
Oh yeah, no, I thought I want to go back and rewatch them now, even though they're old black and white. I can't hear a word they're saying.
BritBox, if you can afford another £6 a month, BritBox, mate. Mostly on there.
All the streaming services,
or buy the DVDs.
120 quid a year, so you can have Amazon,
everything. plus Paramount plus.
I am slowly getting into the concept of Doctor Who. I've struggled with it because it annoys me too much.
Don't worry, it annoys us as well. We're actually fans of the show.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But like for me, certain things, I don't know. They just if it annoys me too much on a certain level, I struggle.
Yeah.
So like for example, Star Trek didn't annoy me because they explained it with science that is not real, and so it's fine.
Well, I'd say Star Trek is
some weird shit happening. Tachyon pulse sorts the problem out every time. Tachyon pulse. What's a tachyon pulse? Who gives a shit?
Photon torpedoes.
Yeah, it just use a science word. Use a science word. It will fix the problem. Reverse the polarity of. Who gives a shit? Who cares? None of it's actually real. They can just use science words in a way that makes logical sense, and it's fine because it's science fiction. This is based on the distant future, so who knows how things actually work? Maybe they're talking
more
truth.
Science
fantasy. I can't disprove them.
Well, the new series is certainly more science fantasy, anyway.
Yeah, and I mean, you can't compare originally. You can't.
No. I honestly see it, even though, especially now, like going through the old ones again, watching them back, and obviously been watching them with Harry over the years. I do consider them two separate entities now. Yeah, that's why, when the whole thing, when it's like, okay, it's a continuation, but I'm like, no.
I think what you'll find, Rob, is that it'll depend on the writer and producer combo.
Yeah,
whether you'll enjoy Doctor Who, and it really does boil down to that. Like, I think you'd actually enjoy quite a lot of Peter.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
Patrick Troughton. I think you'd enjoy because a lot of them are based on science.
Yeah, I think I'm learning to stomach the shit episodes more and just going, you know what? I'm just going to actually put it on while I'm working. I get through it. I just get through it. I don't have to watch it. I just be satisfied that it's been ticked on my list, that it's been watched.
I think you'd like
really paid attention to it.
You'd be a John Pertwee guy as well.
Yeah, but there's a lot of reset buttons.
Oh yeah, massively.
And there's a lot of it all ends out okay in the end,
especially in the new series. Well, it did happen in the classic series a lot, but yeah.
Like can you stop doing that? Yeah, there's a lot of magic buttons in Doctor Who, and that's always irritating. I've never liked the magic button. It's always annoyed me.
Oh, we're in the eye of the storm. Oh, but it's right. No one else. It won't affect anyone else.
Don't press magic plot buttons, please. Just don't.
No, he's turned the TARDIS into a paradox machine. We can't stop it now. We have to know what it's doing.
What is a paradox machine?
Then proceeds.
The fuck it is.
15, 20 minutes later, blows it up and it resets everything. Why don't you do that in the first place?
I'm going to say it again. I've integrated myself into its matrices. What does that even mean?
Yeah. What? Can you explain? Take me through it. A walkthrough. Give me a brochure. Give me a manual. Show me how you did that.
You've done that because everyone at the same time thought of your name.
Yeah. Why does that plunger work? What does that do? Why are you doing that, Press? What was that button?
How the fuck can the TARDIS tow a planet?
It's just like there's so many things that just happen.
Key?
You have to just accept. Yeah, like what? Okay, so why does Doctor when the Master makes you old? Why do you turn into Gollum?
Yeah,
like that's not what old people look like.
The other day,
why did you go small? Why did you shrink into literal Gollum? Literal Gollum, not even as actually was Gollum. Or Dobby. Like you turn into a house elf. Why? Okay, like, everyone's thinking your name.
Time Lords look
why
like
does that make
you
age? Young?
When their regenerations are taken away, they look like silly little aliens like this.
That's what people don't look like. Even a 900-year-old person. Why? And then, I've taken all this time to tune myself into the psychic network, and now everyone's linked to me. And when they think of my name, I suddenly become.
That was fucking handy,
I become Jesus. Why though?
Yeah. It was literally a fucking Jesus.
But why? Yeah. Why did
I
that?
forgive you. Oh, fuck off.
Oh, Jesus. I mean, I love David Tennant, but even then I was sitting there going, but why did you? Why did that do that? Like, I understand the logic behind the theory, but I want to know why it did the thing that it did. Why does everyone going, Doctor? Why did that turn you into Jesus? Like, how did that translate to that happening?
How did human psychic power manage to
Specifically
regenerate
do
him
the
to
thing?
And also,
back
what was the master?
was?
What did the master even want to do anyway? He wanted to launch a load of. He wanted to make a new time war out of missiles.
I've never really. Yeah.
What?
There's a lot I've never really understood about a lot of things. Like, why do you want to destroy the world? I just do. But then what?
Yeah.
Then
Well,
what are you going to do?
that was made
You're
even more
bored.
ridiculous with the
Why
next
do
season
that?
with Davros and the reality bomb. Oh, it's going to destroy every
Yeah, that whole thing. I
and
remember
every
watching
atom in
that,
existence.
and I was sitting there
Right,
going,
then what?
but then what?
What are you
So
gonna
you
do then?
destroyed all life in the entire universe forever in every universe. Then what?
You're going to
Then
reboot.
what? Literally. Then what? What do you do then?
Yeah, then you just sort of
what's
sit
next?
there and be bored.
Like, I reckon that would make a good sketch. Just Davos going, oh
It
well,
would be.
done.
Because it's like the Daleks thrive on
I guess I'll have
conquering
a
and
coffee then.
exterminating. They'd have nothing left to
There's
exterminate.
nothing like this.
What would be the point of them?
Winning is not really the purpose. The purpose is the fight. It's the journey. It's the once you've got everything, there's nothing to do.
No,
That's
what I'm saying. They
why
wouldn't have anything to do. They would probably turn on each other.
Yeah, you
and
would.
Then that'd be it.
What else? You're literally, all of you are pure warriors. That's all you are. You're killing machines. There's nothing to kill now.
Yeah.
Well, that's stupid.
Yeah.
That's like that is equivalent.
Been made redundant.
That is equivalent to human beings using up all the resources on our planet. That is literally what that is. If we used up all the resources on our planet, we would die because we would have no resources left. That's what they just did. They need to kill. They're killing machines. They need to thrive to kill, to defeat people. You've defeated everybody all at once. You've binged, and now you're fucked.
Yeah.
There's
Rather
nothing
than
left
watching it once a week, you've binged the
You're
whole lot in one go.
You're literally going to go mental.
Agreed. It was stupid.
Oh, God.
No, that's the thing. No finale in the new series has actually worked, apart from even the parting of the ways, which is probably the slightly less worse one, the Christopher Eccleston one. He spent half the episode fucking putting a cable together, a delta wave, which would then blow the Daleks out of the sky. But
Kill all the Daleks, but also half the population on Earth.
Yeah. Yeah.
As far as harebrained plans go.
Yeah. So then it took then it took Bad Wolf Rose to just be like, "Oh, I scatter you." How? Because you're part of the TARDIS.
That was one of those things. I thought. So essentially, you're telling me the TARDIS has the power to literally disintegrate the entire species of something.
Yeah, of anything.
Why?
Well, I mean, the Time Lords do have the power to do that.
But why didn't they use it?
Well, yeah, but like
why did they end up in this ridiculous time warp? It's so bad. Why did it disintegrate the whole of the Dalek nation?
The Eye of Harmony in her, and then not die afterwards. Do you know what I mean? Because you need a doctor. Fuck off.
Rose Tyler.
Yeah.
Plot armor.
She was all right. Actually, do you know what? Billie Piper was fine as the moment because she wasn't Rose in the 50th anniversary. She actually played herself, and she wasn't that irritating. So it was like, this is all right. Why didn't you just be like this the whole as Rose? But no.
No more.
No more. No more. No more. No more.
I can't think of anything like that specifically struck out at me that I've watched. I'm like, well, that's just fucking stupid. Like that's just annoyed me. Like I think it's just a big batch of little things that go, well, that's just weird. Like that doesn't. Why would you do that?
That feels incompetent and rushed and stupid. But
yeah, like
we do actually love this shit. We do love these shows, but we're annoyed when they're shit because they have better. They have the foundation of which is better than it's actually been made out to be now.
I've always had a really big issue with time travel in anything because of the way that my brain works. I really struggle because of I need things to have a logical sense to them. Like they have to have They have to make sense. And time travel legitimately...
It's going to be the title of this episode. It
cannot
doesn't make sense.
Time travel can't make sense. You just can't. You can't do it.
Well, it can't happen in the backward sense.
You just can't. Like, the only way, in my mind, I've accepted this. The only acceptable form of time travel is essentially alternate dimensions. The concept of when you go back in time, the point at which you start...
Wormholes.
Yeah, the point at which you go back to... That's now a new time.
God, yeah.
It's no longer the same time. It's completely new time. So I can go back in time and I can kill myself. That's fine. Because that version of myself is not me. It's a different version of myself that would never become me because it's a new version. You know?
Yeah.
Like, it's not literally me. It's a completely different
the grandfather
me.
paradox. Yeah.
I've now gone off onto a new branch. That is the only version of time travel that I accept could possibly make sense to our petty human minds, because any other time travel just doesn't make any sense, because paradoxes are just too easy to happen.
Yeah,
you know, if you go back in time, that's it. What the second you've appeared, everything is now affected.
Changed.
It's completely fucked up.
I know. Fixed
points in time, so non-fixed. No, there is no such thing as a non-fixed point in time. Everything happens. Timey-wimey, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether you pursue it in a straight line or if you pursue it as a big ball of stuff. It's irrelevant. It can't happen like that. Time has to either be a straight line or it has to be potential branches of possibility. But if it's potential branches of possibility, there are no fucking fixed points, because it doesn't. That's not how that works. How can that work? It's fixed points because history of the UK says so. So it'd be weird if we turn around and said, actually, no, there was no Second World War. Because now you'd have to remember forever in this particular Doctor Who that the Second World War never existed. And it'll be really complicated. So that's why there's fixed points in time. And it feels like a fucking plot thing. You can't stop Pompeii happening because it did happen and we all here. So it will take it out. It won't be as immersive because we know Pompeii.
This is why I get annoyed with it a little bit, is that you have the perfect get out clause. Mars.
It feels like a get out clause. That's the problem. It feels like a get out clause.
But in Pyramids of Mars, he shows Sarah 1980 if Sutekh was going to escape and destroys the whole Earth.
Yeah.
And she turns around and goes, "Well, that's not possible because I'm from 1980." And he goes, "Well, if we don't stop Sutekh now, this is the alternative time that will happen.
Yeah.
If we don't deal with this." And it's the one story, and it's like 40 years old.
40 years, nearly 50 years old, yeah.
And it's almost like I don't even have to think that hard to think of that episode from the old series and go, that's your alternative time.
That's the perfect
explains
episode.
Away anything that happens in Doctor Who. There is an alternative version of that could happen if you don't do what you're supposed to do to change it.
You know why they don't do that?
That becomes the fixed point.
Yeah, you know why they don't do that?
Then you can't do the fixed point storylines.
Yeah, it's really hard.
Yeah,
it's really hard to do that in an ongoing series because you have to remember every single thing that you've done, as insignificant as it is.
Oh no!
The entire series.
What I'm getting at is that you've got the possibility of alternate time, but he always tries to keep it the way that we have it as the established set of time. Does that make sense?
Yeah, except it kind of doesn't. It also doesn't.
They'd have to basically write the whole series as... They'd have to get more creative, I suppose, and be like, right, this is the world as we know it from now on, and it's completely different.
I just thought of something that I also questioned when I was watching one of the episodes about the angels.
Oh, yeah.
I love the angels. I don't quite get why everyone's so scared of them, because they kill you in the nicest way possible. Seriously. Like, they're the most undangerous
the original way
ever.
Of doing
they're
it.
Really nice. Okay, so, but why can't you, this is the issue, that we all know that there is a universal constant that you cannot make something out of nothing. That nothing can just, there has to be some sort of energy, something. There has to be an energy conversion. You cannot create energy out of nothing. That's just not how energy works. It has to go from one form to another. It converts. Yeah. That's a universal constant. So they're using time energy by turning you back in time. But what's to stop you from going back and bringing them back and then turning them back in time and then bringing them back and turning them back in time? Is that something you can just do? Just keep flipping them back and forwards? That's like the perpetual motion machine of time travel?
Well, I think later on they go on to explain that they're basically, they use people as, it's like they use they're basically like a human battery farm. Because when it gets to like the Matt Smith episode, you know,
they're all just in New York and just
and it's like, oh yeah, they're using their energy. They go back to using that.
That felt like a cop out as well.
And it's like they charge them, and that's how they basically use them. Whereas in the second story, they basically go back to they just snap people's necks and kill people, so they're not using it then.
I felt like it, like,
yeah. So
that episode annoyed me for some reason, because when I watched it, I'm just like, that feels like you just had enough of these characters.
How are all those angels not looking at each other?
There is that. They're like, okay, you're literally everywhere. But it honestly, like,
also,
at
how
the end
fuck
of the
would
episode,
the Statue of Liberty move and no one noticed?
Yeah, no one noticed in the world.
Yeah, and it's not made of stone.
That doesn't make sense, because they're made of stone. It doesn't convert statues into angels. The angels are just stones. They're not statues.
They're stone when you're not looking at them.
Yeah, they are animals that just look like stones. The Statue of Liberty, that is an actual thing. It's a literal. It's a real act. So where's the original gone?
No,
because that's not the original. They didn't convert it into an angel. That's not how that works.
No, that was
Where's
ridiculous.
it gone? Where did you put it? Is it in the basement somewhere? Did someone store it in their attic? Where's it gone? This fucking huge thing, just not there now. Or is there two and they just never noticed?
Anything that can store the image of an angel can become an angel?
Is itself?
That doesn't even make sense either.
So the image on the recording screen.
It's like, okay, that's a very scary idea, but that makes
to be fair, sense. I like the idea of it, but again, it doesn't quite ring true. But I suppose he was trying to develop them as just, well, I've got to do another story with them. Let's add some other stuff to it.
When you start to question, okay, anything that contains the image of an angel becomes an angel, but angels live on this planet, right? There's got to be pictures of every single statue on this planet somewhere on the internet.
Yeah,
there's got to be.
Google
which
Maps.
Means they would become angels, which means everybody would become angels, which means the entire human race would be basically angels in like a few days, a week.
Yeah,
it would be so fast.
Every statue on Earth was technically an angel. Yeah,
it would be fucking stupid. So that's an example of a plot point that works well for one episode, but you can't work. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
like I said, from Blink, where the angels are stuck staring at each other.
Yeah.
Which is the whole point of that story. It ends that way.
Yeah, which I thought was
a
clever
all those angels in the caves.
Yeah,
clearly looking at each other.
Yeah,
not being that. Surely none of them should be able to move because they can see each other.
Doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Well, I think at that point they weren't quite fully full angels yet because they hadn't harnessed the energy of the spaceship and blah blah blah. So they were sort of looking outwards rather than.
They were angels, but they had kind of run out of energy because they've been there for so long.
So they were using the power of the
gravity. Still doesn't make any sense.
I did love a perception filter though. Surely they should have two heads. Oh, that's a low level perception filter stopping us from seeing.
I love it. Why though? Who made that? Why is there a low level perception? Why?
Perception filter. Perception filter. Perception filter.
So the storyline would progress.
To explain anything that doesn't make sense that you should have picked up. Oh, it's a perception filter. Like, if
I was in that
Last of the Time Lords again. He's put a perception
Doctor.
filter so we don't notice us.
Yeah.
How would you not notice a bloke in a long brown
costume? Blind. It's not a perception filter. You're just stupid.
Yeah.
That's just being stupid. That's just being normal. That's walking into a room and forgetting why you walked in. That's not a perception filter. You just forgot. You were distracted by something more important. It's not a perception filter. Don't fucking put a word on it. It's just, you weren't paying attention. Simple as that. Just fucking admit it. You're an idiot. Stupid. Fucking put fancy words on it. Every time I do that now, I'm just going to say, it's a perception filter.
Perception filter, mate.
It's just a perception filter. I didn't notice. You not notice I got my hair cut? Well, you must have used perception filter scissors. So no, I didn't. Of course I didn't.
You didn't pay your bill this month for a perception filter.
Perception filter. I didn't notice it was due.
Yeah.
Every time I looked at my bank statement, I couldn't see it. I couldn't see it. It just kept flipping down.
Been paid.
Oh, sorry, perception filter. Standard.
Yeah.
Maybe you stop installing these perception filters in your apps, it'd be fine. Why would you do that?
This video is going to be called Perception Filter.
Well, that's the third name.
It doesn't make any sense.
So far.
But the other ones are perception filters because I can't remember the rest.
Or is it?
Well, mate, I don't know. What are you talking about?
Sure,
I don't know the name of this video.
Hey, I can't remember. Did I?
Did you get a haircut?
What are you talking about? Where's it?
Oh my God, Sean, you got a haircut.
Hang on. Is it in here? There we go. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. No.
Completely lost train of thought, but I was just thinking about Star Trek.
Oh, what? How Wesley Crusher can suddenly be made XO of the ship. I mean, sorry, that's the equivalent of.
Oh, on STD.
You see, now this is the thing. Like for me, I never watched the original series. I did try, but it was too old.
I was gonna say old.
Like when I just watched it, I'm like, I just can't. I'm trying, but it's too out there. It's too experimental because it's old and it doesn't feel like it knows what it wants to be.
Because it's not black and white. If it was black and white, it'd be easier to
It's that awkward valley where it's like, but that's clearly that button's made of rubber. I can see that it's not real. It's just not. Everything looks too stupid. And it really pulls me out of the experience. Like really black and white stuff, it's so shit that you can't even tell that it's not real.
Yeah, they got away with a lot of
bad.
shit.
It's blurry, black and white, and you can get away with it. But yeah, Star Trek, like the old Star Trek, the original series, and I know enough about the original series to respect it for what it is. And I know how amazing it was and how groundbreaking it was. But I've always been a Next Generation person myself. That's when I really got into it. I really loved it, and I think I loved it because it didn't have a purpose beyond bumbling around in space. I mean, this is probably a theme. I like things bumbling around with no real purpose, just exploring for no purpose. There's no reason.
Yeah,
we're just looking around
because you want to.
In the endless expanse of space. That's my point. In this huge galaxy spaceship, off I go. Woo! Just have a look. You know, and I like that. And I like the fact that it's scientific enough to try to explain a lot of the weird shit that happens, but also beyond scientific enough to be able to say that when there is explanations make no sense, you don't notice. Because as I said earlier, the fuck knows what a tachyon pulse is? Nobody knows what that is. It doesn't have to make sense.
Star Trek.
I researched. It makes no sense, but it doesn't matter. Because I didn't know it at the time. Who the fuck knows? Nobody knows what tachyon pulse is. It has something to do with time and very small particles that go through time, possibly.
Tachyon energy.
But it's... yeah, they just say things and it makes sense. And I like that. I like the fact that it's not warlike. It's just bumbling around, having a look, see what's going on. And it goes on for like 7 seasons or not. It just goes on forever.
For 7 seasons and what, 3 movies? I think it is.
And then I liked Voyager, and I hated Voyager, and then I loved Voyager, and then I hated it, but then I quite liked it. Like it has.
Voyager's. I've got a little soft spot for Voyager because it's like the misunderstood.
Have you gone through all of it, or are you still at a point?
I'm just about starting the 2nd season.
Oh wow, you're so slow.
Yeah.
Okay. Because
I'm watching DS9 at the same time.
I tried DS9. I will try again.
It's like
I think the problem with DS9 is it's not bumbling around space.
Yeah,
sitting around in space waiting for stuff to happen.
Yeah, but I kind of like that as well.
That's a real sticking point, and it really is a real sticking point. You're not moving. I need you to move.
Well, they have the Defiant.
Eventually, I haven't got that far yet. You know, they're still just there, not doing much. Having a fight in space. I think it's because I think Odo is one of the best Star Trek characters of all time, so that's probably why I'm quite.
That's all about Garrick
to it.
Oh yeah, and Garrick.
See, have you met the Borg in Voyager yet, Sean?
Yes.
No,
I have
not yet.
I remember watching it at the time on TV.
When it was on at the time, but I'm actually properly sequentially watching it now.
I really want to talk about it. Because the Borg, I think, was what episode in Next Generation? It's really early on.
It was quite early. Yeah,
end of episode 2 or 3 or something. It's stupidly soon.
End of season 1, wasn't it?
It's end of season 2.
Yeah. I remember
because when Q basically lifts the Enterprise, dumps it in Borg space.
You think there's some
bad stuff out in the universe? Here's a Borg cube. Oh
yeah,
my
I mean,
god!
they were still wearing their like skin tight latex costumes or whatever, the swimming costumes that just look really tight and uncomfortable and weird.
Yeah.
Before they got to their more decent ones later, but they were just. I loved, like in my opinion, the Borg are the best enemy, the best villain, because they're not a villain. I think this goes back to
I would
talking
say
about Subnautica
if that
ages ago.
episode's in
Basically,
isolation and with no other explanation of the Borg, yes, I agree with you.
Yeah, but
Because
based on
Voyager
this experience-
ruins the Borg a bit.
Yeah. This is what I was trying to say to Sean the other day. On this experience, this episode, it goes back to my Subnautica, saying that the reason why the terror in that game is so good is because you know these animals are not there to kill you, but they will, and there is fuck all you can do about it. You have to try to avoid them, but if you can't, they're going to eat you.
There's no malice involved. It's just what they do.
You're not supposed to be there. You don't belong there, and you're fucked. You've got a little knife, and you just kind of have to die your best, and it's terrifying.
It's not. It's not because they're evil. They just do it because they do it.
They are there, and the Borg are portrayed so fucking well. Here's the Enterprise, the best that fucking Starfleet has to offer, pumped into the Delta Quadrant randomly. Here you go. Here's a Borg cube, just a big fucking cube, just a cube randomly in space for no reason. There's no engines. What the fuck is it? We don't know. Nobody
just
knows.
Floating there.
It's a big cube. And then it just teleports some zombie cube people, just like zombie cyborgs on that don't give a fuck. They don't talk to you. They just start looking at your shit. They don't care. They literally don't even talk to you. They just look at your computers. You shoot one, it dies. Another one comes on, ignores it, and carries on looking at your computers. Like the fact that it doesn't even interact at all, it doesn't even deem you as relevant to talk to, is terrifying.
Yeah.
It is. It's like a wild animal. You have no idea
because you can't.
What to do.
How can you reason with it? You can't communicate with them. They don't even.
It's terrifying.
No.
And then it just cuts a little hole out of your ship and pulls it out. It's like this thing has awesome power that we have never comprehended. It just literally doesn't even care that you exist. You're irrelevant, and it is absolutely. It's so humbling, that experience. And then they had to run away, and they can't run away. They're fucked. And the only way they can get away is the Q continue, which has the power of the universe, can click and make them bigger. Yeah. And it's at that point, and then you realize later on that the fucking cube follows them all the way back through the entire fucking universe, a galaxy, to there that nearly eradicates the entire species with one fucking ship. Like, that is a villain that you shit your pants about. That's the sort of thing that you tell. That's the sort of like nightmare fuel that you tell your kids that the Borg will come and get you if you don't go to bed. Like, that is scary.
And that's what the White Walkers should have been. They were essentially that's what they were. There's an
enemy that is so powerful that you can't even comprehend its power. It's just beyond anything, and we're only alive because they're not here yet.
It's very
Lovecraftian. Continue being here because they haven't come yet. When they come here, we're all dead.
Yeah,
you know. And then unfortunately, Voyager happened. Now I understand why they did what they did.
Oh, what was 7 of 9?
No, 7 of 9 is fine. 7 of 9 is fine. 7 of 9, I can accept 7 of 9.
As in removing someone from the collective,
I can accept that.
Yeah.
It helps that she's fit, but
yeah,
I can accept
big time. Yeah.
What I can't accept is the Borg Queen. That to me is just.
Oh God! Oh yeah, I know.
Invalidates everything about the Borg, because the whole reason the Borg are the Borg is there is no central leadership
hierarchy.
They are a
mass consciousness.
There is no central point of command. They're like ants.
Like the alien queen.
Drones. They are drones.
They are drones. There is no one point of control. They are all independent, but also not independent. They all do things. So to have one thing, one person that has their own mind that isn't necessarily Borg-like. No,
that makes sense.
I just don't know why. But why? Why are you talking to the humans? Why are you talking to the humans? You're a Borg. Just assimilate them. Why are you talking?
There's no need for it, is there?
There's no need.
Yeah.
The old Borg would just assimilate them in a second. Why are you talking to them? It just really annoyed me. Like, it just makes the Borg vulnerable, and they don't need to be vulnerable.
Yeah. When they introduce vulnerabilities like that,
and I know why they did it. They did it because the Borg are literally OP. They're just OP as fuck, and there's absolutely no way Voyager would ever get through Borg space. It just never would. They had to make of an some sort of vulnerability so they could visibly get home. Otherwise, there is absolutely no chance, and it kind of kills the series dead in the water. But it still feels really sad. It really does.
Well, I mean, I like the concept where they're trying to go into fluidic space.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fluidic space I get. I wasn't upset about that. I like the idea that they came up with the concept of, okay, here's a creature that the Borg can't control. They can't do anything about.
Yeah, it's something equally as incomprehensible between the two.
Like, it's so different that the Borg literally can't. They're incompatible. That's okay. That's okay. And that was a kind of, even that at that point, it was touch and go for the humans or the Enterprise, their Voyager. It was like maybe. It's just as dangerous to them, and how the fuck they got out of it was kind of a bit of a fluke.
Yeah,
they managed to do it, but by the skin of their, but literally the skin of their teeth.
But then that creates the drama. That's
okay. Like. I'm okay with that level. A little bit fuzzy about the fact that they managed to fucking sort out all these. Again, one cube. Destroy all of humanity. Just saying, there was a lot of fucking Borg around that area, but yeah, they were distracted. Maybe okay, but then the Borg quit. After that, they should have just left the Borg behind and gone. You know what? We've done the Borg. We sorted the Borg space out. We fucked off. Let's leave it. The Borg need to be unknown. They need to be the boogeyman. They need to be the scary person. Don't know. Yeah.
This is what I was getting at. That first episode where Q introduces them to the Borg. If that had just been the only time you ever see the Borg, it would be one of my favourite pieces of television.
Absolutely. Like, you went too much into detail and you ruined everything. Just leave it. Just leave it as this all-powerful fucking thing. You know they're coming. You know they're coming one day. And you know when they arrive, you will all die. But you just don't think about it. You just forget about it. You just... Maybe that won't be my time. It's a bit like you know you're going to die, but you don't spend your entire life knowing that. You don't think about when you're going. It's going to happen. You know it. Everyone does. You just put it to the back of your mind. It's going to happen. So what? Everyone does. Okay. One day the human race will cease to exist. It's going to happen. Nothing lasts forever, but you don't go around fucking thinking about it. You know the Borg are coming. Who knows when? It's just, we'll add it onto the list of things that can end humanity, you know, along with all the other things that could end humanity. It's just another threat. I don't like it when people feel the need to explain in detail things, because then it lessens the threat. And don't do that. Good writing doesn't do that. You know, good horror, good terror doesn't ever lessen the threat. You don't know what it is. You don't know it. You have no idea. Could be anything. Leave it like that. You don't need to know.
And the beauty is implication. Implication can be far more suggestive on the mind than actually showing what it is that this thing does. It's why Alien's so successful. The first Alien film. You don't see the alien for most of that film, but the atmosphere, the bits that you do get to see, the chest burster, and then the little bits where it kills people off here and there on the ship. There isn't very much in terms of the actual creature itself on screen.
Yeah.
But it's the suggestion, it's the idea that makes you go, oh crap, that's...
Yeah. See, I was looking into this, like what makes a good... I mean, I was looking at more games than movies. I was looking into, okay, so why is one game scarier than another game? And it is this concept of knowing things and being able to do something about it. So some games, a really good example is like Resident Evil. They start off very scary because you're in it. You don't know anything. You're in a haunted mansion. You have a knife, maybe a pistol with 10 bullets. And you're trying to deal with
not enough bullets to deal with whatever it is you're coming across.
You don't have anything on you. You don't have enough weapons or ammunition. You don't really understand the enemy. Some sort of a zombie thing, and it's terrifying. But as you get to the end of the game, you have a fucking shotgun, a magnum. You've got ammo coming out your asshole. You've just got shit everywhere. It's not scary at that point. The enemy's the same. The zombies are still zombies. They're not
It's
scary.
just how prepared you are to deal with them.
You know how they move. You know what they do. You know how they do everything. You've got all the equipment you need. It now just becomes a matter of getting through them. It's not. I'm not scared of them. They're just there, and I need to shoot them in the head and then move on. It's not frightening anymore because you know too much and you are too ready. You're too prepared. And I think the same concept can be with not just with video games, but with TV or with movies or with books. You need to not know what the fuck you're dealing with at any point in time, constantly, to be scared.
Truly
Because
horrified.
if you don't truly understand what you're dealing with, it's going to terrify you.
What's the fear of the unknown?
Exactly. Yeah. Like, how do I deal with this? Either you don't let the player or the protagonist fully understand what they're dealing with, or you never allow them to actually be prepared to deal with it, because there simply isn't a level of preparedness that can deal with it.
That's why I really liked, I know this is going slightly off topic but still remaining on topic, that's why I really like the first Paranormal Activity film, because
you know what, I was exactly thinking that.
well, there you
I'm
go.
glad you said that.
You don't really know what the fuck this thing is and why it's doing it, and then over the course of the next 5 movies they go into this whole lore about what actually it is. It's fuck off. But the first one is fucking horrifying.
I mean, I've watched a hell of a lot of horror movies. Me and Jen, we love horror movies, but they don't scare me. I never get scared at them, apart from a very small few, a handful.
Yeah.
Paranormal Activity scared the pants off of me.
Yeah.
But just the first one, because you have absolutely no idea the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
You don't know. You have scenes where nothing happens at all. And then a scene where something happens, but not much. And the whole time you just never really know what the hell is happening or how far it's going to go. And it's terrifying because it really draws you in and it never explains anything.
Unfortunately, it's where that film falls down for me is that those two people would not be together.
No, yeah, I mean,
I miss it. If they'd actually sorted out the relationship of the two main characters and made it more, but see, I'm going on the more believable side here.
No,
he actually sorted out the actual relationship side of it.
But yeah,
he's an arsehole who doesn't believe his girlfriend. His girlfriend would be like, "Well, fuck you, I'm not being with you anymore."
Yeah,
it's as simple as that.
Or he goes the boyfriend would be like, "Fuck this! If this thing's after you, I'm going."
Don't do this thing. Don't put cameras around the house. And what does he go and do? Puts cameras around the house, and it's just like,
and he gets fucking Ouija board as well, and it's like
that's just fucking rude.
Yeah, but when there's the hint of the fact that it's like, oh, it's not haunting the house, it's haunting her. Then you see the fucking picture frame and it's got his face like smashed in. I'd be like, getting the fuck out of it.
You know what? I'm just gonna go.
Yeah, you know, you might be like good at a lot of things, but you're not worth my time anymore.
I think I just left something in the car. I'll be right back. Yeah. But that's the concept of, something that's good.
Yeah.
You don't know.
And then when they started going on more about, it's like part of a witch's coven and it's through the
don't explain.
It's an ancient demon that wants the firstborn, and they made a deal and all this shit.
That's when it's like, now the whole time, because that's when it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Because at the first point, it doesn't have to make sense.
No.
Because you haven't got enough clues to make it need to make sense.
And also, a demon doesn't need to make sense either.
Precisely.
It can just be doing it for the sake of it.
It's a demon. There is no sense to be made.
No.
Why is it doing that? Because it's a fucking demon.
It's funny. It's funny you guys say that. I actually really enjoyed, and I don't know whether your opinions may differ on this. I quite enjoyed Drag Me to Hell.
I did on when I first watched it. I thought this is a bit fucking hokey, but I watched it again, and actually, it's got that kind of obviously Sam Raimi directed it, but it's got that Evil Dead kind of vibe to it, and I
enjoyed it in the same way that I enjoyed Evil Dead.
Yeah,
I didn't take
ridiculous sense of it.
I didn't take it seriously
because when I went into it first of all, I thought this is supposed to be like this sort of serious kind of.
I didn't try. Yeah, just don't believe. Don't try and understand it. It doesn't.
No, and it wasn't.
I quite liked how unstoppable the Lamia was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there's something about those sorts of relentless things that are coming after you. The Grudge does it quite well, actually.
Yeah.
See, I find
Like
that
a
there's
constant,
kind of line.
it's just not going to stop.
Yeah.
And doesn't matter what you do. And the film doesn't even resolve it. Even Drag Me to Hell doesn't resolve itself. She
No.
gets dragged to hell in the end.
Anyway,
Like,
yeah,
oh.
she does everything she can to prevent it, and she still gets fucking dragged to hell. And it's kind of like, oh shit, you
See,
feel a bit uncomfortable.
I don't know if that makes a good movie, because I haven't decided yet. Because I do respect that in order to make a good movie, it's a story, and a story has to have a beginning and a middle and an end. And when the end is basically, well, nothing ever mattered because you couldn't do it anyway, it kind of nulls out the whole story.
Donnie Darko.
When you've got something that literally nothing you do will make a difference to the ending. Why did I even watch the movie? And so many times I've watched a movie and think, well, what the fuck is the point? Why did I even watch that? Because nothing that person did made any fucking difference anyway. Why did I even bother? It's hard to get it to the point where it's like, okay, that's good. But I do get it. Like, well. I kind of also appreciate the concept of this thing is unstoppable and your humanity is pointless. Your stupid human brain thinks that you can deal with this. No.
This is a supernatural entity.
This is beyond you.
Yeah.
This is far beyond you. Don't even think about what I'm going to... But then I also question, why the fuck do they waste their time leaving little breadcrumbs for the humans to do shit? Just
the shits and giggles.
I just like the
why would they care?
She goes to try and stop it from happening, and it's just
yeah.
What's the point? But again, I think there's a different. Like, I think it's more a case of like films like The Grudge or The Ring where they take it more seriously, and I just think, well, why did I watch that if they were going to die anyway? What's the point?
Yeah.
But it's all right. One film that really scared the shit out of me, and I had nightmares about actually, was The Babadook.
I literally just said that. I said The Babadook
that's probably one of my favorite horror movies,
because you don't know whether it's real or whether it is about mental health.
Exactly.
And that's where it kind of blurs the lines, and it's like, ooh, it's very uncomfortable.
Very clever. Very clever movie, because you can watch it on two levels at the same time.
Yeah.
You can definitely watch it and appreciate it on its surface level. A scary monster from a book that wants to take you and kill you. It's very reasonable. You can watch it like that and enjoy it like that without having to look any deeper. But at the same time, there is a very clear mental health issue.
Yeah.
Throughout the film.
Massively. Yeah.
And especially how it ends.
Yeah.
It really left me, as soon as that light went off, I just heard Babadook in my head. I'm like, oh, I've let it in. And I just like, oh no. Because it is very much a shit. That is so true, to life. And having gone through certain experiences myself with mental health, when you go through that and you think that's too real, that cuts too close, that feels too. Yeah, I don't like that. That's uncomfortable. That's rather
because you could see it as it is a anecdote of depression. And that's how you see it in your mind, almost.
Absolutely.
And it's like, oh, yeah, that's...
Once you've let it in,
clever.
You can't get it out. It's there now.
Yeah.
You've let it in. It's part of your life.
Yeah.
And you have to feed it. And you do. You can't get rid of it. You have to accept that's now part of your life. And you have to feed it. And you have to keep it happy. And if you don't, it will consume you. And it is that constant battle that people with mental health have to kind of go through all the time. And they just depict it so well in such a terrifying way. It just feels too real. And I turned the light off and I closed my eyes and went, I'm fucked. I don't like this. I don't like this. Oh God, I can't sleep. It was so scary.
It came out of nowhere as well. It wasn't really built up that much.
I wasn't expecting it to be that psychological.
And I don't know, and I know this sounds silly. I think because it was Australian and not American, it made it feel even more real, because it wasn't your typical
it wasn't typical
Hollywood thing. It was slightly like, oh dear, this is Home and Away on steroids. But 100% agree.
It's funny you say that. That's why I prefer the original cut and the tone of Mad Max, the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See what I did there was manage to throw in why we ended up talking about Mad Max
in the first place. Yeah.
In the first place, so that he now has a nice editing point to bloop, bloop.
Yeah. I'll just put this right at the beginning.
But the tone of that original Mad Max film, because it's an Australian film, makes it have a much different feel to a lot of films like that.
Mm.
I also miss a lot of the subtleties of why the world is ending in Mad Max, because the signs are in that film. They're just very subtle.
I'm gonna have to watch it.
I should
rewatch
the
people
original.
are going crazy. Yeah. There's something in the water. You don't quite understand why people are going mad and starting to become they started to become roaming gangs. It's that kind of feeding you, but again, not enough to be like bashing you over the head with fucking storyline. It's kind of like
it's been a long time since I watched it, so I might go back and rewatch it and see if it's interesting.
No, definitely,
because that's one of the things that I like about watching films and TV series that are not American in origin. Is that there is a certain like method,
rawness
a certain
to it.
I don't know, a certain Hollywood essence they have to stick to every single time. It's like,
make sure when you do watch Mad Max, you find the original Australian dub, not the American dub.
Why would they bother? It's the same language.
Well, yeah, it's the same language, but they've dubbed it in.
They dubbed the accents.
And it's really. I've watched the American accent one. It's awful. Same film, exactly the same film.
What's the point?
Just doesn't have the same Australian accents. And it's just like,
yeah, that's a weird one, isn't it?
See, I've just watched. What did I just watch? A weird Netflix thing we just found. A weird series on Netflix. I can't remember what the fuck it's called now, but it's so weird. And it's
a lot of stuff on there.
But like at the moment, for some reason, me and Jenna, we're picking up some random foreign stuff. And my first thing is, let me guess where it's from.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know anything about it, but let me just guess where it's from. And immediately I looked at it, like, I reckon this is Japanese. And yes, it was very much a Japanese thing. Alice in Borderlands. That's what it's called.
Okay.
So catch it. You see it on Netflix. Alice in Borderlands.
I'll put it on the list, yeah.
Now, it did piss me off, as you would expect.
Yeah.
But it also didn't, because, yes, it didn't make sense. But it kind of made an excuse by saying, I know, and I don't give a shit. So that's fine. You know what I mean? When it's like, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
What are you about? I know. Even the main characters know none of this makes sense. And they know.
Yeah.
But the thing is when I watched it, I'm like, you know what? This is literally like watching an anime, but with live actors. Yeah. Like, it was so weird. Like, I've been so used to watching like actual anime. Like, even the characters, the way they looked, the way they just were.
Let me guess, did they just go, huh?
Yeah, literally. It's like they make sounds. It's like, that's an anime sound. You're making an anime sound. You've got that sullen guy with the glasses that just sits there and just with his hair out and just looks sullen.
Yeah.
Then you've got the weird guy with the open shirt, the Hawaiians. It's like they're literally anime characters. What? They're all. It's so Japanese that it made me question: are all Japanese things like this? Because I've only really ever watched anime. Like, I don't really watch a lot of Japanese programs.
Yeah.
Or, I just watch because. What do they? I don't really know.
Live action stuff, yeah.
Yeah, I don't never really watch live action stuff. I just maybe question: is it all like that? Like, is literally like, I want to know now.
Comment section.
Are they all kind of very similar? Is the anime basically based on their normal live action stuff, and that's just an extreme version of their normal live action stuff? Because it just really made me think. I also watched another one which is Korean.
Oh, so even more out there then.
Yeah, another one which I originally thought might have been Japanese, but it wasn't. It's just Korean. I got guessed wrong here. But they also did a very similar thing in that they were very anime-ish.
Yeah.
And at one point, some guy picked up a microphone to test it, and he actually went, I'm like, what are you doing? No one tests a microphone like that. Or do they? Maybe that's the normal sound you make.
Maybe testing 1, 2, 3.
Like, we would say words, but maybe in Korea they just make a noise. Maybe that's what they do. But I don't know. It just makes me think
maximum results.
Maybe I should be more open-minded to things. I mean, that series wasn't as good. It got boring after a while, but still, Alice in Borderland's all right. It's essentially
like we were talking earlier about like kids programs that our kids watch. It's like the Koreans make a lot of them. Like what was the one? Yeah, like Robocar Police, which is not even Robocar Police. Robocar Police. They couldn't even be bothered to put the two in, which is about like your typical sort of Transformers like thing.
Yeah.
Morphil, which is about some cartoon character who can change.
I love Morphil with a shark thing.
With the shark thing and the robot and everything. Yeah. And I keep looking up at these things and like, yep, that's Korean. Titty Po, that's another one about these like these. I don't know
what that is, but I love it already.
Like these like animated buses and trains that talk to each other. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
No, change it. Take it back.
Yeah.
I hate the sound of that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all a bit weird.
Yeah, just maybe start thinking like we get so. I mean, that is what got me. I remember watching my very first animated film. Like anime film, not animated, not like
Lion
Toy
King.
Story.
Yeah.
Like when and it was a Studio Ghibli film, and it was Howl's Moving Castle.
Right.
And I remember sitting down to watch it. I was 19 years old, and my mate put it on. I thought, I don't want to watch a cartoon. Why the fuck are you making me watch a cartoon? What's wrong with you?
Well,
and the whole film, I was just like, this is really weird. I like this. Because, and the best way I can explain it is it was not like anything I'd seen up to that point. The plot, and more importantly, the character development was so unique. And the reason why it was unique was because it was Japanese.
Yeah.
And not American. And in the American, you don't even notice it, but in so many things are made in America, the movies, the TV series, there's a certain expectation that people have to deliver to the audience.
The status quo.
Yeah, like how things work, how people develop, how people talk to each other, the reaction people have to things, that you kind of accept it as part of your reality, that when you watch something from a completely different culture, it's like, that's different.
Yeah.
I mean, immediately, this girl was turned into an old woman. And her reaction was like, oh, shit. Oh well.
That happened.
Well, I better leave then. Like, you know what I mean? Just like, okay, she's accepted it immediately. Just
That's fine.
Okay, she's just fucked off.
I'm really old
I'm an old woman now. Guess I'll just have to better leave. I don't want to upset my family. I better leave. Let's go and sort this shit out. Like, that would never happen in a westernized. The way that the characters developed was so different.
Yeah. From
the way that I'd seen up to that point, and it made me realize, actually, you know what, you should indulge in other cultures' movies from time to time, just to get sense of
just to get a more well-rounded view of things.
Yeah. And what I definitely noticed,
opening the mind.
Yeah. What I noticed is that Japanese, I mean, I don't know about everything, but Japanese anime does develop children very well. When I watched My Neighbor Totoro, the most pointless film I think I've ever watched, because it literally has no purpose to it. Like, there is no point to it. The ending is just like, what? Nothing happened. Nothing happens in that film that actually matters to anybody. But again, that's probably because I'm so brainwashed with the westernized way of there has to be a purpose to everything, that I felt that there was no point. But maybe the point was lost on me at the time. But the fact that the children in that film acted like actual children do in real life.
Yeah.
It wasn't this Americanized version of what you think children act like. No, they actually acted like what children act like. They're weird little quirks that they do. They're stupid ass things that they do. It's like, that's actually what they do.
Yeah.
Like the things they do, but when you're not looking.
Yeah.
The stupid things that they do when they think no one's looking.
Inventive play. Yeah.
Yeah, like the 4-year-old go around picking up from fucking flowers, crushing them in their hands and going, "Here, this is for you," and just leaving them on the desk. Just moving them to the side because I don't really want them. Like
picking flowers up from the garden and dropping them through the table, because
the normal shit that happens that makes no sense. Like, that's included in this, and yet it's completely ignored in westernized movies because it's irrelevant. No one gives a shit.
Yeah.
No one cares. It's annoying. But in this, it's valued, because the movie is literally about that age group. It's about the joy of that childhood and how they find the tree spirits and all that kind of, and it's for that age group, and it is so good. And I really, although I kind of find the movie really boring, I don't like it. I do respect it a lot for what it does and how it does it. I think you've done a good job. You know, you really did. You capture the imagination of those children and how they've explored it. It has no purpose, but maybe that is
display those characteristics.
Yeah, there is no purpose to childhood imagination, so maybe that is the purpose. The fact that why are you on a cat bus? Who knows? Who gives a shit? Did anyone question where the cat bus came from or where it went? No,
it's just there.
Why is there a cat bus? Who knows? But there's one.
Why is the train talking?
Yeah, it just is. And it's that sort of sense of wonder that children don't question because
of the innocence of it all.
Yeah, how do they know that's weird? They're children. Everything's weird.
Yeah, everything.
So I kind of really like that. Yeah, I like the fact that they captured that I've never seen before in any other movie. Like every other movie seemed to want to force feed you this sort of shit, and they didn't.
Logic.
Yeah. I didn't think I get it after the first view. I think it took me a couple of times to get it.
Yeah.
But that's good. You know, I think you have to work at things sometimes.
Go out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, and that made me think as well is that it's the same with music. I've noticed.
Mm-hmm.
Because I did actually Google the other day, why is music so shit nowadays? And it is. And it's
because there's no imagination
and it's
anymore.
Not just me. Like an actual music people have been music people. I don't know what you call a music scientist, but over the people who study music as a living, they think that the last big band that was good were the Beatles. And the reason why they say that is because they were experimental. They used lots of different music, sounds, instruments. They really tried to explore different areas. They had no idea whether it was going to be good. They had no idea it was going to be successful, but they just did what they thought they wanted to do.
You could argue that they invented several genres just from doing what they were doing as well. Yeah.
And now what people do is they just make music that sounds similar to what you've already heard.
Yeah.
90% of the music that you hear on radio stations are made by two people.
Yeah.
Literally, two different people are making 90% of all the music you hear.
Yeah.
And they just give it out to different people to sing. And it's just all bullshit because it's basically designed to be fast food for the ears.
Mass produced.
It's all McDonald's. That's what it is. Yeah. It's McDonald's sounds. I just want to get this in my ears nice and quick. I don't want to think about it. Yeah. Just get it in. Yep, that sounds familiar. That's got that whole millennial sound to it.
Yeah.
So
that sort of subliminal messaging through music. Which is
does this mean we're going to be going down a terrible rabbit hole of Japanese horror movies?
Probably. That could be another series that we do.
That is an experience.
Yeah.
There's so many weird Japanese horror movies.
That's what lockdown is doing to us.
Well, that's what Netflix does to me. It produces me with random things. You want to watch this, do you? No, but okay.
Mate, the other day I was circling through Netflix. She wanted something to watch, and on the categories it goes like action films, drama films. It had feel-good films, and the first one was The Green Mile.
That's not a feel-good film.
How can you put that next to Garfield? There's nothing feel-good about that fucking film.
That's the good film ever. That's the shittest film ever.
Yeah, exactly.
I cried at that film.
I even put that on Twitter, and then Netflix immediately got back to me and put, "Oh, sorry about this. Can you email us and tell us what film it was, and so we can sort it out?"
This is not a feel-good. This is a feel shit film.
Someone's having a laugh here, surely.
There should be a category: feel shit films.
Yeah,
that should be on it.
Moody bastard films.
Have you watched Cargo?
Cargo? No.
I doubt you have.
No.
I'd be surprised if you did. It's a film. It was on Netflix. I think it's probably a Netflix original, and it has. Oh, what's his bloody name? Who's Bilbo Baggins? The new Bilbo Baggins.
Martin Freeman.
Martin Freeman. He's the main character, and it's a post-apocalyptic zombie film.
Okay.
It made me cry. The reason why I'm asking you, Sean, and not Harry, is because you have a kid, and that's the reason why it made me cry.
Oh, right. Okay, fair enough.
I now cry at films.
Should I watch it?
I just can't help myself. It's just
I get really emotional now as well. Even watching animated films like Lion King, I got really, really fucking emotional watching that movie.
I don't know what it is. Something triggers when you have a kid. All of a sudden, things that hurt children in movies or TV series really upset you now. Like serious upset you to the point where you never even noticed before.
Yeah, it really like the door's been unlocked. Yeah.
And Cargo, I would definitely recommend it.
Okay.
It's a good film in general.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it. It's a good old film. I mean, Martin Freeman's in it, and he plays Martin Freeman, as he does in every movie.
Like he does with everything.
He just is Martin Freeman. He's like the Will Smith of white people. He just is him.
That'd be a good quote to take in.
But he just, the way that essentially he just dedicates survival to his kid.
Yeah.
I won't spoil how it goes across, or where it goes, but it had me in floods of tears at the end, like literal floods.
I'll put it on the list.
Absolutely outstanding ending. I was really, anything that can move me to tears, I put as good.
Yeah.
Because if you can move me emotionally, even if I feel like shit afterwards, the fact that you've managed to move me emotionally is good.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be sad. It can just be like empowering and over like.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Have you ever watched Grave of the Fireflies? Wow, I need more beer. Can't talk. That'll loosen my tongue up. Apparently, Grave of the Fireflies.
Is that on Netflix as well?
Probably not.
No, I haven't.
That is a very old Japanese anime movie, not a Ghibli film.
Fine.
I watched it thinking it was a Ghibli film.
Yeah.
I'm an idiot. I didn't do my research. I thought, oh, this would be like My Neighbor Totoro or Spirited Away. No. Fucking ripped my heart out.
Oh no. Oh.
God. That's another film that has me in tears. And that's a fucking animated film. They're not even fucking real. It's just cartoons.
The drawings. Yeah.
Drawings of people. I was in tears.
Oh, it's all about the dialogue, man, and the construction and the story narrative.
Essentially, it's about a young boy, and his little sister after the explosion of Hiroshima.
Oh shit! Right. Okay.
I don't want to go into too much detail in case you do watch it.
Yeah.
It's not a happy film. Let's put it this. It's not a feel-good film. It's fucking horrible. It's horrible, and it is ruthless. Yeah. It's like, don't give a shit about your feelings, mate. Don't care. Here's the knife, just twisting it a bit more. Don't care. Like, there's no good thing. There's no
feel horrible
happiness. There's no redeeming features about it. There's just, this is fucking horror. This is war. Tough shit, mate. You've just lost everything. Oh well.
Deal with it.
The teeth as well. It's fucking horrible. It's horrible. I love it. Because not many films have the balls to do that. Not many films have the balls to do that. Not many films, or not many anybody has the balls to make you feel like shit and then just leave you in the dirt and go, fuck you. You know?
This is the story we wanted to tell.
Yeah, this is the story. If you don't like it, don't fucking watch it. Yeah, that is not many people have the balls to do that and end it like that.
Yeah.
And I can't. You have to respect people that go, you know what, this is the story you wanted to tell, and this is what you told. Good on you. Well done.
It's real.
You did what you went to do. You did what you set out for, and it's good.
Yeah,
well done.
Like Chernobyl. Yeah.
It's Chernobyl.
Or Chernobyl, however you pronounce it.
Chernobyl. I thought this is some sort of weird thing. Chernobyl. Yeah.
A noble terrorist. Yeah.
I'm surprised we haven't spoken about Chernobyl yet. That's fucking amazing series.
Yeah, that's another one that needs to be on the discussion list, I think.
I'm on the fence.
Ooh, intriguing.
I'm on the fence. I do like it. I don't know if I like the fact they didn't use Russian accents or not. Can't make up my mind. Because I like Russian accents. But at the same time, if you're implying that everybody's speaking Russian, then you're also implying that I'm Russian and therefore would hear it as a normal way of speaking. So maybe you don't need to put a Russian accent on.
It's the TARDIS translation, Rob.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't need to put an accent on. They're speaking in Russian, and I am obviously listening in Russian, so therefore I'm hearing it in my natural mother tongue. So it's my natural instinct. Fair enough.
It's kind of like what they do in Vikings, where they.
It would be nice if it was Russian.
Speak.
I do like it
with like Swedish or Norwegian accents, but they're speaking Norwegian,
English.
but we're hearing it in English.
Yeah,
And then when they
like,
speak in
yeah,
English,
What I quite like about Chernobyl is they do manage to get across a different sense of how people are or how people were in the USSR at the time.
yeah, big time.
Like there's different bits, like when the main scientist goes into the Kremlin and he speaks to all the heads of the Russian government, and he has to sit there and bide his time and until he actually gets to the end, and he's like, no, we can't leave because there's a sentence in this report that is basically this situation's 100 times worse than you think it is.
Yeah.
And then he has to take a step back when they're like, well, why am I going to listen to you? Who the hell are you? And then he's kind of like tries to sort of be reserved and be like, introduce himself and do this whole sort of weird etiquette that just wouldn't have been in Western culture. You just wouldn't get it. And it's just it's interesting to see how the culture is actually shown, even with English accents and stuff. Yeah. But there is a distinctly Russian feel to how it goes on.
There are the thing. That aspect of it I thought was fantastic. I loved it. What I had issue with was the science behind it, because the only problem I have with it is that element that it's perceived to be realistic. They show it to you in this grim, dark, realistic way that it's implied that this is what happened, but it's bullshit. And that's what I get. And like, if you're exposed to a nuclear reactor, you do not immediately start bleeding from your body all over the place. That just isn't what happens. That's not how that works. And if you are exposed to nuclear radiation and you get sick because of nuclear radiation sickness, you're not infective. You can't infect people with nuclear radiation. Once you're out of the area, you've washed, you've cleansed yourself, your clothes are disposed of, you're fine. You're sick because of the damage it's done to your body. People can still be exposed to you. There's no problem. You don't end up with these horrific burns over all of your body. It's just not how that works. And that element of it, I thought, it's a bit misleading. Yeah, it kind of made it look worse than it needed to look like. It's already bad. It doesn't need to look grim at the same time,
I suppose that's the HBO
that's the
element
drama.
of it.
Yeah, that's the HBO. So I can kind of accept that. That's the drama side of it, and it did make good telly, and it looked awesome. So I can't argue with it too much, but only because it's based on a factual event.
Yeah.
Like if it wasn't based on a factual event, I actually wouldn't give a shit.
Yeah.
But because it is based on a factual event, I start thinking, that kind of makes people think that happened when it didn't.
It needs to be held to account.
Yeah, like if you're going to base something on a factual event, it needs to be factual.
Yeah, that usually helps. Yeah.
Otherwise, it's kind of lying. It's a borderline between, is it lying or is it artistic license?
Yeah,
it's lying.
Obviously,
lying
when it's involved in Russian,
style,
you can't
lying.
Get the complete truth out of it anyway.
Yeah. But it's good. It's a good series. I do like it. I do like the actors in it as well.
Yeah.
So I think it was all very good.
I've just noticed. I love how we've added your name as Awesome Bob as opposed to your full name.
I'm the only one that's not actually my name.
I just noticed that right now. That's great. Well done, Harry.
True name.
Yeah. No, that's what Rob's put as his Skype.
Oh, I see. I thought you. Oh, right. Okay, fine. Yeah.
To make it work, I don't know how to use this bloody thing. I don't use Skype. That's just what it is.
Before we started using it, I hadn't used Skype for fucking years.
I use it at work, and they set my username. It's all about
Zoom. It's like fuck Zoom. I like Skype.
Anything. Fuck people, I say. Don't talk to anybody.
Yeah.
You're special, so you get the exception.
You get a free pass. We've been through a lot together over the last fucking how long it is.
Oh God.
15 years, whatever.
I need the toilet.
Feels like old times.
I get another drink.
Oh, you gotta hang on for a bit because I might have a cheeky fag while you're going.
Yeah, no, I'm probably staying for as long as you guys stay here for.
Oh, cool. Because I thought you were in a sort of similar position to Jack, where you had like a curfew.
I did.
You getting bored,
but that's gone now. I fucked that up. Unlike It's not quite
Should I
leave
it recording?
punishments-
What else comes up, or should I
The
stop it there?
punishments are not quite so
You can stop
severe.
it there,
It's more of a disapproving.
All right then.
Pick it up, and that's fine.
Yeah, that's a.
It's a price to pay, but I can pay the price. I guess I'd accept that.
I'll stop it there because we've got 2 hours of material to work with, so that's cool.
That's good then.
Yeah.